Hello, bookworms, bibliophiles, and lovers of all things literature. Welcome to the next chapter of the Braless Book Guild podcast, where we discard our bras and continue our stories to talk about books, both published and unpublished. We are your hosts, Jenna.
Hi, guys.
Marissa.
Hello.
And I'm Megan. As always, before we get started, let's talk about what we're drinking. Jenna, what you got?
I'm drinking a matcha latte. I worked at a tea shop locally, and they're kind of known for their matcha lattes, and this one's a white chocolate lemon. We call it the lemon truffle.
Oh.
It's really good. And I need all the caffeine I can get because my child decided he doesn't like sleeping anymore, so...
Sleeping? That's for wimps.
Yeah, who needs to sleep? So I don't get to sleep either because he's decided that he is against it. So yeah, that's my matcha latte, my white chocolate lemon matcha latte. What about you, Marissa?
Oh, I'm drinking a Darjeeling tea today because it's been a long time since I've had one, and I remembered that I liked it. So I was walking by the store today, and I saw one, and I was like, you know what? I'll grab that.
Darjeeling is technically black, right? Is it a form
Yeah, I
of
think it's a black tea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's from Darjeeling, India.
Okay, because that was when the recipe that I have for the witch's brew, which is a chai latte, it says specifically you need Darjeeling tea.
Oh,
that's
nice.
cool.
Yeah, I like it. It's one of those ones where it's like, I've always liked it, but I never just go buy it. So this time I bought it.
I'm drinking a Thai tea, iced Thai tea. That's very good. Jenna made it for me. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't take a whole lot of work, but I do make the tea here, so it's like, don't set up the podcast.
We all have our roles here, and Jenna is the tea person.
This is true.
All right, so today is a special episode where we're going to dive into the sequel book of The Divine Rivals, which is called The Letters of Enchantment by Rebecca Ross. So in chapter 4, we talked about Divine Rivals, and now we're going into Ruthless Vows. So from the beginning, there will be spoilers because if you have not read Divine Rivals, we are just going to be talking about what we thought of Ruthless Vows. So if you don't want to be spoiled, click away from this episode. Or if you just don't care, feel free to listen and you might be a little confused, but we'll do our best. All right, guys. So
start out.
Marissa had a great idea where she pulled up our last episode because at the end of it, we talked about our predictions for the sequel, and
let's just list the predictions.
Okay, so Jenna went first, and Jenna said she wants it to be drawn out of Kit and Iris getting back together, but she didn't want it to take too long. She wanted it to be like a third of the way through. Let's just say did not happen.
Hey, they got back together very briefly.
For a second.
And I will say it was pretty quick.
It wasn't like maybe like a third, close to half of the way through the book, I want to say.
That they reunited for a hot minute.
For
a
like,
second.
Hey, you're here, and then gone.
She's like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Right.
And then more into the god's motivation, which honestly, I don't think we got at all. Like, we knew Enva's motivation was to defeat Dacre, but I don't, like, Dacre made no sense to me. Why did he
just wanted her.
He just wanted to kill her, right?
Well, he was mad that she
made him sleep.
Made him fall asleep and
she rejected him.
Outwitted him and didn't want to marry him.
His fragile masculinity.
They did, yeah, his fragile masculinity. And then the other one was more twists. The main twist of like, it's not all just black and white. There's a lot more secret motivations, and like maybe Dacre isn't as bad as it seems, and we will just say it was very black and white.
Yes,
the entire book was completely black and white. Dacre was bad, Enva was good.
She
Enva
seemed
wasn't
very
bad.
passive.
Yeah, we'll get more into that later. I have a whole rant about that. More about the god's point of view, which I feel like we kind of got because we got to see more of Dacre because
we interacted with both of the gods.
Yeah, well, definitely Dacre more than Enva. Enva like showed up for a chapter
and at the end,
and then was
She started it off. She showed up a little bit, and then she kind of ended it.
Yeah. This is the best one. Are you guys ready? We didn't want them to be the chosen one to end the war. And guess what? They were very much the chosen one. Another rant that we will very much get into later. This is like the prequel for you. What's going to go on in this episode?
This episode.
Yeah. More history. I feel like we didn't get any history at all.
We got very brief because I think when he was going to dig up the gods, that's when you got a little bit of like why he was doing it.
I wanted so much more of that though.
I know.
Yeah. And then we talked about like, no, they're just writers. They're not anyone special. It should be Keegan and Marisol.
Keegan, really. It should be Keegan, but
yeah, they should have been the one that were chosen. And then wrap up the war, which honestly, wrap up the war and then kind of reveal the truth of it. Like maybe the war was a lot more involved than we expected, which no, it was just a war.
Yeah.
And then Marissa specifically wanted an open-ended ending. So it was like slightly like, oh, there could be more out there. Yeah, no, it was pretty wrapped up. So, let's just get into it. What'd you guys think?
So, discarding all of our predictions, I would say that I thought it was clever a little bit that they did basically the first book again, but flopped, where they're writing to each other and she knows who it is and he doesn't. Where in the first one it was he knew who she was, but she didn't know who he was.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of clever and cool. Also felt like, okay, I'm reading the same book again.
Yeah. That's what I was feeling. And I thought, because there's a very big moment where he brings the typewriters, Dacre brings the typewriters to Rome and it was like, which one is yours?
Yeah.
Which one is yours? And he picked Iris's and said, that was mine. So he threw it away. But I thought that was going to come back.
Right.
And make a huge deal that he was going to keep the typewriter and be able to see all of their correspondence.
That would
I
have been
didn't
so
even think about that. That would have been awesome.
I thought he was going to use that. Like, he knew that there was magic in it because he is a god.
Right.
But it didn't happen at all. And I was really disappointed in that.
Wouldn't the god have, like, I was sitting there thinking, like, the god should have some knowledge of the Alouettes. Like, or at least be like, an Alouette, I wonder if this is something significant. They're both Alouettes.
To be fair, he was asleep. So
he was
That's
asleep
true.
when they were made.
That's
yeah.
true.
I just figured that he would have picked up on, they're magic.
Yeah.
So then I just assumed. But I do agree that starting off, because I did like the part in the first book of them exchanging letters to each other. And while I do think that it is important to keep this like part of the story alive, especially since Kit lost his memory, I do 100% agree that I felt it was reading the same thing.
And it just went the whole book.
I think my favorite part of the book, though, was the heist to get the
Oh my gosh, that was the best.
first Alouette.
The first one,
yeah,
from the museum. That was my favorite part of the entire
that was
book.
so
was the
fun.
heist.
Oh,
Right.
And then that like opened up this whole thing that I feel like was not even hinted at in the first book. Was the people who were against the gods and trying to take over the city.
Yes.
And that was like the first hint, which I wanted it to be hinted at. Granted, she spent half the book away from the city, Oath.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to be hinted at that people were, disgruntled with the gods in the first book, because this seemed to jump out of nowhere.
Right.
That suddenly she's back in the city, but it's being taken over by this.
Anti-god movement. Yeah.
Right.
I really liked it. What was their name? I loved their names.
I don't
too.
remember.
The like grave something or
Grave, something, yeah.
Jenna's looking it up right now because but I liked that group because I liked the inclusiveness of like the good versus evil, and then the people that are all like, gods just suck.
Right. But they were also not good.
No, they were not good.
They were
Right.
probably the worst, actually, to be honest.
They were a way of giving us another antagonist that wasn't just Dacre.
Yeah.
Because Dacre, we followed a lot of his story in this one because we were following Kit, and Kit was with him and working for him and all of that stuff. So we got a lot more of like his side of the war,
Right.
and we needed somebody to be an antagonist towards him that wasn't just Enva's side.
Right. And it was an antagonist towards everybody, basically.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it was another group of people to fight.
I just think, as I mentioned earlier, I wish it was like hinted at more.
Yeah.
Because it just felt out of left field that, yeah, we need this other bad guy to, I don't know.
To kind of keep
us on our toes.
Well, keep things out of the city, I felt like. It kept Enva's forces from coming into the city, and it kept it from being the front lines, but also
it ended up being
the front lines.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One thing I did like, though, was I felt comfortable reading these characters. It felt just like slipping on, a comfortable shoe. So having recently read, Rebecca Ross is such a fast writer, that she had, Divine Rivals came out in February, and then December or even November. I don't remember when Ruthless Vows came out. But I was comfortable with the characters. I liked that we did get a different point of view, especially with Kit. We got a lot. I felt like we were more in Kit's mind because we got to relearn his life with him compared to the first one. And we also got to see more of his family as well because his dad played a huge role.
Nan was best, though.
Oh, yeah.
His Nan was the best.
His Nan was the best.
Yeah, we got to see everybody in his family.
I think, we got a lot more of Kit's perspective in this one. I think it was pretty balanced in the first one, and for a good portion of it, it was more Iris because it was her going off to the front lines in the first one of okay, now there's that separation of them. Mm-hmm. Where in this one it was almost reversed, like I was saying with the way that the letters were, but it was almost reversed as far as we got some of Iris's stuff, but I think Kit's story was almost, I want to say more important, but more relevant for the majority of the book. And then it wasn't until Iris started getting all the information, her dreams and stuff started coming together, and it was oh, she's going to be the one to end the war.
Right. She was the chosen one.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Her and her friend who can play the violin, which I guess we should have seen coming.
Yeah. But I don't remember her talking about playing the violin in the first one.
She definitely did.
She very briefly mentioned it.
But yeah,
I didn't care about her.
It was so briefly talked about that
it felt like an offhand comment of oh yeah, we used to like music.
Oh,
but then it was forbidden.
Forbidden.
Right.
Yeah.
But she kept a secret violin so she could play music, and that came in handy.
Exactly.
So that came in handy to make Dacre fall asleep, and then what's her name? Iris could cut off his head.
Yeah. Which should have been Keegan doing so.
I agree. Right. Very much. I think it should have been them.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, though, is that, and we talked about this at the end of the chapter 4, was I think that their role as Kit and Iris were reporters. So they should be reporting, gathering the information, giving it to people, and then them taking the actions.
Right.
And you get a little bit of that of Kit warning Iris of the bombings and stuff, and so she goes and warns Keegan of it. And that's, I feel how it should have been. He should have been the inside man, relaying the information, and then Keegan and those forces took the actions.
Right, because they were literally Enva's forces.
Yeah.
They were literally her.
Yeah, can we talk about how random it was that he was I'm going to force Iris Winnow to tell the story about the bombings when I have my own reporter here. I mean, it was cool that she got the chance to put in the safe places, but it seemed so forced and out of it to be I'm bringing Iris Winnow in, and suddenly I'm obsessed with her because somehow he now knows that she's the chosen one, even though there's no reason that she should be the chosen one. He just knows that she's going to be important somehow.
I have a very big issue with Dacre suddenly being obsessed with both of them.
Right. Yes.
So he at one point said to Kit, "You were my most trusted ally."
Right.
At one point, because and what was the point? Was it just to have someone tell his story?
Yeah.
No,
but we didn't get to see that. We didn't see what Kit wrote.
Yeah,
it was one snippet.
Yeah. At one point it talks about it, and that's how Iris knew he was alive, essentially.
Yeah.
Was because it showed him them publishing his article, and then she was like, "Oh my god, his name," and
yeah.
But yeah, it was they should have been underlings. They should have been not important at all, and maybe Kit as a author or as a writer, a journalist, telling the stories is important, and so he knows things before they're going to happen, and he gives Iris the heads up. But why the god should have no reason to be like so concerned with a journalist and another journalist who's talking about the other side.
Well, I think the initial part of it makes sense of like, hey, I'm going to take this guy because I know he's writing about the war and I'm going to get him to write my side of the story to encourage people to come to my side, which was something that I liked and something that I wish was more true, but he became more of a like manipulative part of it of like, tell the story of how great I am and how I'm healing people and being a good guy and being the best choice in this war and stuff like that.
You did his voice really well from the audiobook push. That's like exactly what he sounded like on the audiobook.
I did not mean to do that.
It was so, I was like, that's exactly how he sounded. Anyway.
Oh, that's right. They drew out his
evil
voice in it.
sound.
Yeah, he had the low and long voice of it. Anyways, but yeah, he was trying to like show people that I'm a good guy and I'm doing these things to help people. And that's what I wanted to be true to make this a not black and white story of like, he does heal people. Now he heals people for nefarious reasons. And now he's like kind of lying and twisting words to make him seem good, which makes sense on his part, but it doesn't make sense how high he had Kit in his revenue.
It made sense for him to use Kit as propaganda to sell his side of the story.
Yeah.
And yeah, Kit could have known some things and therefore like still been able to give some things away. But I was really disappointed with the very clear black and white of like, he's bad. He heals people, but he only heals them enough for them to
be able to do what they need to do for him.
And
I take away their memories so that they can't
choose a side.
Yeah, they have to be with me. And I can manipulate them.
Exactly. Like, it would have been much more interesting, I think, to me if Dacre genuinely healed people.
Right.
And actually had a following. But what was interesting is, like, I think that they used Dacre as he was Hitler.
Scapegoat. Yeah.
He was Hitler.
Yeah.
It was like, these people don't really know what they're doing, so the Nazis aren't actually culpable. And it's like, but they were wrong. And it's like, so they used Dacre as like this, like, oh no, he brainwashed all of them. And it's like, that's not what happened. Some people did know, and some people were aware of what was going on, and some people didn't.
Yeah, Kit's dad knew.
Yeah, Kit's dad knew. He was actually a bad Nazi, and then there was some that didn't.
Kit's dad also was part of the assassination attempt.
Well, Kit's dad played all sides
he was in it for himself.
Exactly. He was like, I don't know who's going to win, so I'm going to put a little bit in each pot.
You know what, mortals? Don't play games with gods.
Yeah. That is the ultimate.
Yes.
The ultimate thing here. To go more positive, I will say I did like this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I just re-listening to all of our predictions, I am so disappointed now. But I did really enjoy this book.
I devoured it.
Yeah,
I read it so fast.
I read it in like 3 days, which is why when we tried to record this last week, we said we don't remember what happened because it's been a hot minute since we actually read it. I do wish I want her to continue in this world because I want to hear more about the other gods.
I want prequels. I would love prequels of this. I would love the story of the Alouettes. I know we talked about that in the first one. I would love to hear stories of the other gods, even though it's very sad now because they're all dead. Yeah, there aren't other gods.
Which it was very subtly hinted, not subtly, it was obviously hinted out that Enva went out and killed all the gods while they were sleeping.
Yeah.
Right. But she was somehow the good guy. Because she did it so that Dacre wouldn't have the power, so it's fine.
But I don't understand it. See if you guys can inform me. How is she trapped in Oath? She can't leave the city.
She I think she made the deal with the king or chancellor or whatever.
Oh, and this is so it must have been after she killed all the other gods then?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
So I think it was like way long ago they all went to sleep. She realized that if he wakes up or when he wakes up, then he'd take their powers, so she went and took them first. And then the king or chancellor or whatever is all like, hey, you're too strong, so you have to stay here.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I got out of it. I don't know for sure. Like we said, this was forever ago that we read it, but that's kind of how I read it.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I want to know like what the other gods' powers were, because there was one that was dreams.
Yeah, that's
all
the
I
only one that
remember.
seemed important because she was using the dreams to
get to Iris.
Yeah, teach them the melody.
I think there was something about like fertilizing land or something like that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, like they were using it to like keep people hungry or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know.
It was very, very briefly touched upon all of that, and that's something that I wanted when we talked about predictions, was I wanted more of like the mythology of this and the gods and everything. And we got like the tiniest crumb.
Which was, they're dead.
Yeah. Was, hey, they got all these powers, but doesn't matter.
Enva killed him.
Dacre wanted to kill him, but Enva did, just so Dacre wouldn't have the money. Money.
The money. Wow.
The power. But
just so Enva could go run a museum.
right.
Or not even run it, act as a security guard.
I was gonna say,
so that she could convince people to kill him for her, because she's totally not going to abuse her power the way he would.
Well, she couldn't kill him because she made a pact when she married him.
Yeah,
Right.
the vow.
That she couldn't, the vow. But he didn't make any such vow.
Right.
Because he was like, yes, I promise to love you and not kill you.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I promise to not kill you.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
The toxic masculinity of it all.
yeah,
Exactly.
he
I
was
felt like-
very toxic.
I felt like this was such a like overly feminist book in some ways. In just the god versus goddess
Yeah.
aspect of it, where I have a hard time with books like this where they make the man just completely
Oh, yeah.
The bad guy.
the bad guy
Yeah.
in the way that he does everything.
Yeah.
And yes, I know that it is a reality out there, but it's just such a scapegoat in that sense of like, I want to talk about how women are powerful over men that are toxic like this.
And it was interesting that every single one of the characters, with the exception of Kit, all the male characters that were on the good side were just supporting. Everyone that actually did anything was a woman.
And even her brother in it, like
Right.
he was super controlling of her and stuff.
Right,
yeah.
And I hated that aspect of him. I thought, it was going to be like brother, sister, like bickering and everything, obviously. And yeah, he wants to protect her, but he was very much like, you can't go out and do anything. You have a curfew and like.
Right.
He pulled a Tamlin.
Yes, totally. It was like crazy because I was hoping that he was going to be like super strict, like, no, we have to get safe. And then like they were going to like work together and he was going to kind of give her the information to like get Kit away from Dacre.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But instead it was a retelling of the first story of like, we're going to, talk through these alouettes and take down the big bad guy with the women swinging the sword.
Did you guys predict that Forrest was gonna die?
I was happy he died. I'm so glad.
Wow. She spent the whole entire first book wanting to be with her brother. And you're just like, yeah, he's gone. I'm happy.
No, I was gonna say when
Once I
she
found
was
out how her brother was.
Yeah.
well to me no, it was more to me it was that war has casualties. And so the fact that he died with the girl that he was falling in love with and that their story never got to end and got to have a real like that is a realistic depiction of war.
That's true.
And to me that seemed like if everyone had just turned up and they had found her brother and everything was okay and all the important people survived, it would have been like, oh, okay. Like, it just wouldn't have had the impact that I think that it should have, especially when she was the chosen one and like.
Every time we say that, I roll my eyes.
Marissa rolls her eyes a little bit.
I like how Rebecca Ross took like depictions of war and like actual wars that have happened and kind of put it in the story. And so they had stuff like the attempted assassination, the bombing that went wrong, and all of that. I liked the very end when he was dead and those people. Did you ever find out what the name was?
No, I couldn't find
I think it's just
it.
called the graveyard.
Yeah, I
The
think it was the
graveyard.
graveyard or something
Yeah.
like
Just
that.
the graveyard.
But they were like rounding up all of these people and doing the firing lines and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that was such a real moment.
I thought that was really cool too. I thought that it was like, I was glad it didn't just end on that note of like, and the war's over and everything is sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
Because they have to round up everybody who, but I also like that some of these people, obviously we know that they were against their will, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And if they went against Dacre, then the pain that they had that he stole from them
And I like that
would come back.
I like that they did execute people like that.
Yeah.
That it was like it showed the unjustness of the graveyard until Iris came forward and was like, hey, you know, I can prove this. I can prove that they were working against it. And like, then suddenly they actually got trials. Like, but the original reaction was Dacre's bad. Enva won. We don't want anyone that fought for him going free. So we're killing everyone.
Yeah.
Except Kit's dad.
Except Kit's dad.
Kit's dad managed to get off free with a trial.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that the ending was the best part of the book for me. The fact that like everything that after post him dying, the fact that it felt realistic to a war, the fact that there was tragedy around it, bringing the war and the bombings and them like trying so hard to save people knowing that they can't save everyone, and like having that and also them executing people unjustly, like the post-trauma of the war was most interesting to me.
Speaking of trying to save everybody, I love how she like took over the printer to like sneak in like the front page news story is like, hey guys, if you guys want to like survive, go to this page and here's a list of all of like the magical. I also love how if there's a magical place like the museum or even the tea shop, if you go there, you can like survive.
Right.
Because they're magical buildings.
Yeah.
Also, can we say I want a tea shop where the tea never goes cold?
Right.
Cute tea shop.
That's so adorable.
Cute. And also it led to the underworld.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love how she did that. Like that was one of my favorite parts of her. I will say she does action very well. Rebecca Ross does action very well. Where my heart was pumping when she's like running around trying to like save everybody. And she's like, "Where's my brother? Where's my brother?" And she's like, "I can't. I have to leave him. I just have to go back to the tea shop because I gotta kill Dacre." But her doing the newspaper thing and utilizing like her ability to, you know, write a story or, you know, get the newspaper to listen to her was really cool.
That's where her point should have ended. She should have used it and it should have been them going down to the underworld. She was going to save Kit. She was trying to find him. Addie could have done the lullaby and Keegan could have killed Dacre. But instead, Kit sat there trapped underneath the crazy evil beings.
Yeah, he was pinned beneath the...
What are they?
I don't know. Fake dragons, worms.
Yeah.
And then, it was like that, although it did, my heart was pumping. I was sitting there like, you've got to save Kit. Why do you not notice that Kit's right there? Like, how can you know, but it was like, she should have been looking for him. I feel like she should have been trying to find him to get him out. Because at the end of the day, she is not a chosen one. She is an author. She shouldn't be swinging a sword.
But even then, she didn't even save Kit.
Right, no, she didn't.
It was, what's his name? He was a spy.
The guy who threw him under the bus first.
Yeah. He was like, I don't want you to throw me under the bus, so I'm going to throw you under the bus. But also, I guess I'll save you.
But I guess, because you still didn't throw me under the bus.
The lieutenant.
The lieutenant. Shane? Was that his name? Sean?
Lieutenant Shane or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, because
secondary character that didn't matter.
Listened to the audiobook and they called him the lieutenant.
Lieutenant.
Oh, interesting.
They're British.
Yeah. Oh.
How did you guys feel about how she got the key to the underworld by accidentally stabbing the dude?
That was really funny, actually. I liked that part.
I felt it was kind of cheap.
Yeah.
But
right place, right time.
Yeah.
I thought it was cheap, but it was funny how they wrote it. I enjoyed how they wrote it.
In the dark, just
in
scrambling.
The dark, like, and then,
I was going to say another thing about this book, though, guys. This is the one I was referring to. I don't remember what episode we talked about it, but where while I was reading it, I was picturing them being a certain age, and then at some point they say she's 18, and I'm like, oh, that ruined a little bit of it for me.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine them like mid to late 20s.
Right.
And then they're like, she's 18. I'm like, she's 18. She met this guy and got married. Like,
They didn't even date.
Yeah.
no.
They were
Hey,
literally
I hate
like,
you.
I hate you, I love you, let's get married.
Yeah. Which we talked about in the first one where it made sense because of the war aspect of it and everything. But I was still like, oh, honey, you're 18.
I know.
What is Ariel's line? I'm not, Daddy, I'm 16, I'm not a child.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say, following up on that 18 thing, which makes it kind of creepy now that I feel like I'm saying this. I did like the romantic tension in the moments when they were together, and there was the like, we can't act like we're together because we're being watched. So they had like it felt more of the like Victorian, like I touch him lightly, and like the hidden small touches were magnified rather than the like over the top like, and then we kissed and fell into bed, which is like what everyone does the minute they can touch their significant other in a book.
I literally just got on my the memories on Facebook. I said social distance like you're a Regency couple that dare not be closer than 6 feet, lest you give in to your feelings and embrace, thus ruining your reputation beyond repair. And I feel like there's a lot of moments of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is.
I do remember her posting on Instagram, and I think it was about this book where she's like, yeah, there's steamy bits. And I was like, there's no steamy bits. It was definitely a fade to black. But maybe she's talking about a different book.
It wasn't steamy by most standards, but I think especially based off of the last book, it got a little bit more into it, but it was not like,
Oh, yeah.
it was not explicit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
when
not
they
at
had their
all.
one night together.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I truly loved her writing, though. There were so many quotable moments in this book that, like, just the way she would put together a sentence, I was like, oh my gosh, that was so beautiful. And she would do that, hyping the book up before it came out. So, like, every once in a while on Instagram, she'd post just, like, a quote from Ruthless Vows. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to read this book.
I know you would, but I found a lot of them were just really cheesy, romantic. Like,
You know what,
over the
Marissa?
top.
I like it.
Totally great for you guys. I felt like it was a little over the top, especially because they started saying it after I was told that she was 18. And I was like,
I mentioned this during our Under the Whispering Door, and this just shows how, you know, different strokes for different folks, where for me, that was just too blunt and it wasn't poetic enough for me. It had its moments, of course, but then going from that book into Divine Rivals, I was like, yeah, this is it for me.
Yeah.
This is what I enjoy.
The beautiful,
so.
flowery, cutesy thing.
Yeah.
I like that.
I will go cheesy all day.
I like clever. I like, and yes, beautiful.
Gail Carriger writing,
Yeah.
clever and beautiful and funny.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that. I'm not into the overly cheesy.
So I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Did you prefer one book over the other? So Divine Rivals versus Ruthless Vows?
Divine Rivals. I like the first one better.
I think they were about even for me. I think Ruthless Vows, just because, like Jenna said, the post war type things, I liked the grit of that. Whereas in Divine Rivals, you didn't get much of that. It was more just that, like, character insight.
I felt, for me personally, I thought we got more because we got the front lines and the actual trenches of the war. But I do agree, like, the post-war is so important and is so often not talked about. And I do think that that's important to, like,
I think
write
the
about.
last time that I read a book that had the post-war like that was Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I think that's the last time I've read a book that had that post-war, and it really got into the, like, this is what happens, and it's not all pretty sunshine. And
you know what one has a pretty brutal post-war moment is Animorphs by K.A. Applegate. Because, I mean, the whole series is about war.
Yeah.
But this, like, everyone always complained, like, oh, why did they all go their separate ways? And someone, I think, major spoiler alert, like, killed themselves.
Oh, wow.
Trigger warning. But she was just like, war is brutal.
Yeah.
I wanted to write about war, and the post-war, like, moments are also important.
Yeah.
So.
I think also because even though it didn't go the way I wanted it to, I liked this one a bit more because we got more of the gods in it.
Yeah.
where the first one was definitely focused more on Kit and Iris.
The gods were like the whisper on the wind in
Yeah.
the first one.
Admittedly, though, I do think that this second one felt more quotable to me.
Oh, interesting.
I think it had prettier moments where I was like, oh, that's pretty, and I'd want to write that in my quote notes.
But none of our predictions came true.
Not a one.
Not a single prediction.
And we as we were listening to it, we were all just kind of sitting there like going, oh,
Oh no. We gave each other a group hug.
yeah.
We did.
Consolation hug.
Yeah.
The heavy eye contact of like, oh, ooh.
So will you guys be reading more of Rebecca Ross's
I
work?
definitely will. I really like her as an author. Like I said, even though I feel like the beginning of this podcast was us going, it did everything we didn't want it to do. I love the books. I literally can't stop talking about them too to people. Like anytime someone goes, oh, I think I want to read this Divine Rivals, I'm like, do it. It's so good. I told my coworkers to do it. I got our friend Angela, who's been on the podcast again, to actually put it on her TBR because she was like, yeah, maybe.
I also talked about it. And
Yeah.
I said this is very much up her alley.
It is. We'll see if she likes it. But maybe if our coworker, also reads it, she'll be more likely to. But yeah, especially the audiobook. It's still my favorite audiobook of all time
Audiobook
so
did
far.
it well.
The audiobook did amazing. It was funny because I was trying to jog my memory of books that I had read. I'm like, I know I started with Ruthless Vows. Where is it on my Kindle? And I'm like, oh yeah,
You did
I
audiobook.
didn't buy it on the Kindle.
Hang on, I have to call you out. Did you do the audiobook for Scorpio Races?
I did not.
Okay, never mind then. We're
Yeah.
good. Because that is the best audiobook. It has Sean West and Fiona Hardingham, and they are the best narrators of all time.
No, but now I kind of want to listen to it because I did really enjoy that book, and I think that okay. And it's been enough time. I read it. I started November 5th, so I could enjoy it and still remember what's going on, but be able to kind of zone out to it a little bit too.
Why did you not talk to me about it? We didn't talk about it, Jenna.
We will have a discussion about this book soon.
Okay.
Maybe it'll be our next book to convince Marissa to read.
Ooh. That's the one that's...
It's not gay enough.
Fair.
Neither is A Tempest of Tea.
Jenna.
I will say there is one character that I'm convinced is at least bisexual in that book. It is not explicitly said yet, but
Jin?
yes. And that's just because he reminds me of Jesper.
Yeah, I can see it.
Jesper, a real person in real life, or Twilight Jesper?
Six of Crows.
Six of Crows.
Oh, okay, not Jasper.
Jesper.
Jesper, yes. Six of Crows.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesper was my favorite boy. I love Six of Crows.
I can't wait to talk about A Tempest of Tea with you guys.
I was to say, as far as reading other Rebecca Rosses, I would like I said, I would like to read a prequel series of this. That being said, given that none of our predictions have come true, I am very hesitant to think of doing so. I don't know. It really, really depends on the book and what the story was about. I think she's a good writer. I'm not 100% sure if she's exactly what I would just pick up and read, though.
Yeah.
What's it? A River Enchanted? Is that
Yeah,
the one
I
that you
just
read?
finished that duology. I think I finished A Fire Endless, which is the second one, a month ago. I really enjoyed it. That is more about Scotland feel, where they have kilts and plaids and stuff.
It's on my list.
Very cute. And it's all about fairies, not 500-year-old hot guy fae, but
Genuine fairies.
like fairies and spirits of the winds and water and stuff. And
we're Scottish, so I enjoy Scottish things.
okay, yeah.
We were actually knighted by Mary Queen of Scots.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Where's your land?
Well, we were also part of the belief that she killed her husband, and we were part of that conspiracy, so we fled to America.
I see.
Me and Marissa specifically, actually.
Yeah.
We went back in time.
By the way,
she knighted both of us. We
Our-
helped her kill her husband and then fled to America 2023.
Our family actually has a genealogy book that I've been trying to rewrite, so that's why
oh, that's so
I know
cool.
so much about it.
That's really cool.
So Marissa, you could read A River.
A River Enchanted. It's very cute. It's very fun. Again, it's not gay enough for you, but I'm trying to even think if there's any queer characters, and I don't think there are.
There's no Marisol and Keegan.
No. And then the other book that I read from her was Dreams Lie Beneath. And that's the one that, like, the first one that I read that I went through, and halfway through the book, it, like, changed direction from what it originally was into something that I did not expect at all, which kind of, for me, when we started reading Divine Rivals, was her going to the front lines, was just like, whoa, this is totally different than what I expected. I thought it would be an inner city book the whole time. But yeah, Dreams Lie Beneath was really cute. It's a standalone, so you don't really need to get invested.
I might have to read that one. I think that one also is on my want to read list on Goodreads, which I literally just put every single book that I see that looks interesting.
Any mention of any book goes on.
And sometimes it sits there and I look back on it and I go, oh, I learned more about that, and that is totally not up my alley. And then it just sits on my want to read list, even though I don't want to read it anymore.
Right. For me, it was getting back into, like, the show Firefly and rewatching that, and then being like, well, I'm going to read all the comic books, and so I put them on my to be read. And then, oh, now I want to read all the novels that are out there. And that moment has passed.
I still laugh so hard because the episode where you talk about how you don't read books that are based off of TV shows. It immediately changed your mind.
I'm like, yes, I have read all of the Star Wars novelizations and anything by E.K. Johnston. Yep, and Firefly. Never mind. I don't do that. Wait, yes, I do. Very much so.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
It happened, yeah. Anyway, any last thoughts about the Letters of Enchantment duology?
I'm curious what our listeners thought of it. I want to know if they were if they felt the same as us at the end of Divine Rivals, or if this was everything they wanted and they got every trope that they were hoping for. Maybe they all wanted chosen ones. So I'm curious what you guys thought. What about you, Marcy? Any other thoughts?
I was just, and this is not a good ending thought, but
we'll switch these up.
Dacre was not how I pictured him. Every time they described him, it was not how I pictured him.
He was tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah, he had like the black hair and the
pale skin.
Yeah. I pictured him with like this like greasy blonde long hair.
I was gonna say he was Lucius Malfoy in my mind.
No, he was Eric from True Blood in season 1 in my mind.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, no, he was 100% like a Lucius Malfoy in my mind, and then he's like, I'm tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah.
Every time they'd be like, dark, and I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah.
I pictured him as the actor who plays the Sandman in The Sandman.
Oh, okay.
I pictured him as that. Kind of like pointy features, dark hair. I don't know if he's tall in that show or not. I started the first episode and then got distracted.
That's exactly what happened to me and Jelani. We started Sandman, and we were like, we really want to watch this. And I was pregnant, and I think then we had Elias, and we just never finished.
Yeah. As it happens.
Okay.
So, to end this off, we're going to talk about, instead of like what we're reading right now, what is the most recent sequel you guys have read?
I read The Oleander Sword by Tasha Suri, which is the second to The Jasmine Throne.
Ooh.
Which I will say, to get you guys more excited to read The Jasmine Throne, I liked just as much as the first one. And I remember thinking when I was reading it, like, because this is going to be a trilogy, and I remember reading the first one, finding out there was a second, finding out it was going to be a trilogy. I'm like, how are they going to do a trilogy? This definitely feels like it'd be a duology. I can definitely see it now, and it was well done.
Okay. So. Very cool. When does the third one come out?
I believe the end of this year. I don't know the exact date, but I believe it's the end of this year.
Yeah. So it'll be good for you, Megan, because you'll probably finish the first and second one, and the third one will be out or coming out.
Mm-hmm. That would be good timing.
I will have to wait, probably, because I'm reading it now.
Oh, right. Just a couple months.
I'm not patiently waiting.
It's only going to be a trilogy, right?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay.
When I looked it up,
sneak into 5 books or something.
Well, so I finished The Jasmine Throne, and like I was on like the last like 60 pages or something like that, and I was at Panera Bread next to Barnes and Noble, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna finish this and go get the second one. And then I got the second one. I'm like, I should see if this is a trilogy. And so I looked it up and saw there was a third one.
Okay.
My most recent one was actually Gold by Raven Kennedy. It's the 5th book in the Plated Prisoner series, which is a guilty pleasure of mine. I know Megan tried to read it and like hated it immediately. I literally pushed through because so many people were talking about it, and then I think it took till the 3rd book before it got interesting.
That's so long.
But they're quick books, and they were on Kindle Unlimited, and it was one of those books that I just read because I had Kindle Unlimited.
And everyone's reading.
Everyone's reading them, and they were such a quick read that I just like flew through them. And then it was like one of those things. It's like, the 5th book came out, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I should read that." And I hated it. I hated the 5th book. I need the 6th book to come out. Although
There's
I literally
6? Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
it's the last one supposedly. I just want to know how this ends. Although I feel like this book did exactly what I hate. This book did what Divine Rivals did. It separated the love interests, and they never reunited throughout the whole 5th book. And I'm just like, sorry guys, if you spoiler alert. But like, I just sat there wanting them to get back together because at that point, like, you're invested in the love interest, and then they're just separate. And I was like, I don't even freaking care about what's going on with either of you two. Just get back together so that the plot can go where it's supposed to go. I was not. I was not impressed. Maybe the 6th one will be better. I like the 3rd. I like the 4th. 5th. Meh.
Oh. We'll see about the 6th one.
We'll see.
The last sequel that I read, outside of those that I have already mentioned, was Now I Rise by Kirsten White, and that is the Conqueror Saga. And that's the second one in a trilogy about a gender vent retelling of Vlad the Impaler.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's been out for... This is one that when I went to Australia, I bought all the covers because it was like the artistic, like painted face ones instead of the regular, not so boring or not so exciting ones. And they have been on my shelf since 2017.
I actually bought And She Darkens.
And I Darken,
And
yeah.
I Darken, which is the first one, and it is still sitting on my shelf, and I still think, I'll read that one day. And it has probably been since before I even knew that there was going to be a sequel to it. So when it first came out, and it was probably at Target.
Oof. So that's been a hot minute.
It's been a long time, and I obviously still have not read it, but I will one day.
All right. With that said, let me pull up our quote. So this is a quote from Ruthless Vows by Rebecca
Really?
Ross. And you may not be a goddess, but nor am I a god. Despite our mundane lives, perhaps we make our own magic with words. So yeah. All right. Thanks for joining me on this adventure, you guys.
Yeah,
This
thanks
was
for
my
recommending.
This was my chosen book, and I'm happy that you guys liked it enough to go into the second book. So thank you again. And
I'm really excited to talk about Tempest of Tea, which is my choice.
So if you haven't gotten it yet, start reading it now.
Yeah.
Because in a couple episodes, we will be discussing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.